and preparing for the winter blizzard that is to hit this weekend. Here in North Carolina, we are calling for a blizzard. Well, to us, it's a blizzard. And several of my other friends and advocates I was talking to last night are also preparing and hunkering down for this blizzard that is to strike the East Coast. So, y'all over in the West Coast and California, say a prayer for us. So, today we're talking about advocacy, and I have Porscha Green. Um, and so I was wanting to know where my advocates are. I know there's a lot of people watching that are our advocates or in our advocacy training. If you feel comfortable, would you drop in the comments below where you're an advocate at, what state, or you can just drop in your name and say hello. We would love to see our advocates here. And if you are watching an advocate, would you mind sharing this? Oh, there's Heather. Good morning. She was the one I was talking to last night about storm. Is if you are, um, I'm sorry, if you are an advocate, I also encourage you to please share this with somebody else, maybe that you think would be a great advocate. Tag them in this. We would love to get the word out. We are in need of more advocates. So if you think somebody would be a great advocate, tag them in it. Probably make their day too, to feel that you believe in them. So I'm going to go ahead and let Porscha introduce herself.
Hello, everyone. I'm Porscha Green, the Advocate Coordinator here at Call to Peace Ministries. I've been with the organization, we're coming up on a year now, and my role here is to pretty much support, guide, and encourage like all the advocates, and as well as some of the survivors that I work with as well. With here at the organization, we have advocates who are now internationally. They're all over the country and now in other countries as well, who support individuals who have experienced domestic abuse. And so I'm here, and I'm the one that is the go-to. Hopefully, I'm not saying too much, Lauren, before we go in the interview.
No, I want you to completely introduce yourself.
Yes. So yes, I'm the advocate coordinator here, and I just love this organization. There's so many great things that Call to Peace is doing, and we're growing exponentially. And yeah, and that's why we're here to talk to you today.
Yes, and I'm so glad Portia's here. We got to connect a little bit over Christmas break and get to know each other more. And Porscha is a gem. I am so grateful that you are here at Call to Peace Ministries. You are just such a woman of God who has walked through so much and found God to be so faithful. And you just point others to Jesus. I know, like, I walked away spending time with you, just feeling really encouraged and inspired as I recently connected and onboarded as a CTPM advocate and just encouraged in my faith. And so I'm really grateful that you are part of Call to Peace Ministries. What you do and the role you play is so important to women coming in, desiring to be an advocate that have been through the course. So I've also want to announce that we have dropped in the post above, look up above, you will see a link to join our advocacy courses. They started January 4th. But it's not too late to join. It's not too late at all. You can go back and watch. You can join anytime in the middle of the year. It really doesn't matter. But right now at the beginning is a perfect time. Please consider if you've not joined. Porscha recently sent me a quote before we get into the interview. Would you mind sharing some of that? That was really about what the advocacy courses meant to the girl that went through it. You don't have to share her name, but just a quote of that.
Yes, so I had there was a lady who had went through the advocacy course, and she said that it really opened her eyes about what she had been experiencing, and she could understand more about how coercive control really like changed the trajectory of her life. And so she said she was thankful for the Lauren, I forgot what I sent you, honestly.
Thankful
She
for
was saying she was
in
saying
our support.
she was saying it opened her mind up. She said now, especially now since her church and her biblical counselor have turned against her in a sense, and so she's thankful for all the support she has gained from Call to Peace Ministries. So we are here to be just that, just to be a support, to educate, to enlighten people about what coercive control actually looks like, and to defy the stigma that is placed on domestic violence and domestic abuse.
Yes, I love that. And I love the fact that you just mentioned that about the stigma that's placed on domestic violence. So many believe that you have to have bruises still or be hit. And that's not at all what domestic violence is or what this course is covering. It's going down into the depths of coercive control. What does that really look like in every facet of a relationship? And just, it's, wow, mind boggling to have 100 hours of fully understanding this in ways that I had never thought of before. So I want to jump into our interview. Is there anything else you wanted to add about that?
No, because I feel like I'll be going into our other stuff.
Okay. Um, and so I wanted to know a little bit since you are our advocate coordinator. So Portia is in charge of like mentoring and discipling the advocates that are underneath her. I guess I'm saying that correctly. Mentoring, kind of like encouraging them in their role. And so, which is really helpful onboarding an advocate through this course. It's still like I felt very nervous about onboarding and being an advocate because it's kind of like, oh no, what if I say the wrong thing or direct them? And so this is what Portia is here for. She is here to guide you with her experience, with her expertise, so you are not alone. And so I just want to know too, kind of what is the role like with as an advocate for Call to Peace Ministries? What role will I be playing in a woman's life? We're going to start with one because usually we recommend you start with one case. What does that look like? Because for some of us, it could be very scary because we think like, oh, does that mean we're on call 24/7? Like, are we there counseling them? What does it look like? So I would let you go ahead and start with that one.
Yeah, so a lot of I get this a lot. Like, a lot of women come in and they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm scared. I don't want to ruin another woman's life. Like, I don't want to cause harm to her life, and I'm scared I might say the wrong thing. I'm scared I might do the wrong thing." And it's not as hard as you can probably envision in your head it being, because domestic abuse is a challenging thing to deal with. But when you're supporting someone, it's just simply as that. It's just that you're walking beside them. I
Mhm.
look at advocacy as being like a walk, like you're just taking a walk with a friend. What do you usually do on a walk with a friend? Like, you're usually talking and getting to know them and validating, affirming them about what they're experiencing, encouraging them, bringing them to the Lord, like praying with them, providing tools, providing resources. It's just a walk. Like, there's no run anywhere. We're not trying to get anywhere fast. We're
Yes.
just taking our time just to get to know an individual, to understand them, hear their story. It's a lot of listening. So it's a lot of listening and providing solutions, potential solutions, if they're open to them, and and getting them connected to the right people. So it's just a walk, and you're not alone in this walk with them.
Mhm.
Um, and just as that we tell them that they're not alone in the walk they're going through in their life, because they have your support. So what it looks like is the frequency it just depends on the frequency you talk with them, or spend time with them. It just depends on the communication plan that you all come up with. So usually my style of working with a survivor is, let's talk about a communication. How often would you like to talk to me? So you want to talk once a week, once every 2 weeks? Do you want to reach out to me when you're just ready to feel like you want to talk? It's something you want to get off your chest.
Mhm.
We talk about that form of communication. So we know, like, okay, and I might tell them, look, I'm not usually available after 7 o'clock. So um, just FYI, like, I'm here to support you. We do a safety plan initially to make sure they feel safe, to make sure they feel secure. They have a plan where they can actually walk it out. Like, even if I wasn't available, they have something in their head that they can utilize if there was an emergency. Uh, so it's just literally a walk. So you're just taking
Mhm.
that conversation day by day, moment by moment, and just being there as a support. Um, that's how I look at it. It's just a walk with the individual, like with a friend. You look at it as like walking with a friend.
Yes, I love that, and that takes so much, I think, pressure off a woman that I have to say and do all the right things. It's just like loving that person in that and being there and just willing to listen and willing to validate the same as you would want somebody to do for you when you were there earlier in that situation.
Mhm.
And that leads me to my next question. How do you walk, like, as an advocate and mentor a woman in that role? Like, what are some specific ways?
Um, as far as mentoring advocates in that role,
Yes, sorry. Yes. How would you mentor an advocate? Like, because you'll be walking with me or another affiliated Call to Peace advocate as
mhm.
they're walking with a woman. Like, how do you do that specifically?
So usually how I do that is, well, we have our monthly meetings. This week has been extremely busy because of them. We have our monthly meetings where we gather together in the based upon the time zone, and either if it's pretty much wherever whatever time you are available for that meeting, you have my support. So this is time for you to be empowered, for you to be encouraged, and get tools and strategies on how to support the people that you're working with. So um, this example looks like, for instance, we've had previous trainings on boundaries. How do we set appropriate boundaries? And that's parallel to how we do it with the people that we're working with. And we do it in our own life, and we also show other people how, like, um, we when we work with them. Like, so we only do phone calls at a certain time. Like, the person knows that I can't answer a million text messages when they text me, because it does happen. Like, sometimes people have things on their brain and they just go away at the text. I have a person like that, and she texts me, but she understands that I might not be able to get to her text immediately. So it's just showing them that, I'm here for you, but I might probably can't get to you immediately. So um, and so just discovering self discovery, um, getting back to self, discovering things that you love to do. Um, so everything that I teach the advocates is in parallel to how what they can help teach the survivors that they're working with. Because most often, um, survivors they lose the sense of self. They don't know who they are. They don't know
Mhm.
how to make independent decisions. And so it's just about training them to. Um, have a sense of self, understanding what you need for self to be able to support someone, a survivor who's been through some domestic abuse. So like all the training that we do in our meetings is parallel to how we support the advocate. I mean the survivor. So you get that support. If there's questions, you don't know an answer, you can text me, you can email me. We can schedule appointments to discuss the case. And like more recently, I've had a lot of people who were just drained at one point,
Mhm.
but after talking to me, they felt more empowered because they felt like they weren't alone in the process anymore. They felt like that they had someone who could support them, um, and they felt like they can go at it again. Like they knew what to say to the person, they knew how to support the person, and they were no longer overwhelmed. So I am kind of like that person you go to for relief, to bring you back yourself to self in a sense. To help you sort out the challenges that you may feel in the moment when you're dealing with the case, to sort out the needs. And if I don't know the answer, I always try to find the answer. And I have my backup, which is Joy and Deborah. Dr. Deborah, they support me when I'm stuck sometimes. So I might not have the answer in the moment, but I know where to get the answer from. And so what it looks like is like we have opportunities for you to be supported in various ways.
Mhm. And you also offer, you're mentioning monthly trainings too, correct?
Yes.
Can you tell me a little bit more about that? How do you join monthly trainings as an advocate? How
So
is
the
that
monthly
provided?
Yes, so the monthly trainings is provided in our monthly meetings, based upon the time zone. So, but we do it every once a month for every time zone. So we have like two. It's usually about two times that you can hop on. So if one time doesn't work for you, you can always hop on another time. And during that, we do recorded training. So even if you can't even connect on those trainings, you'll still get the recorded training. You can get insight. You can still reach out to me. Um, and so there's pretty much, I won't say unlimited access to support, but you do get the support that you need and the training that you need. and the trainings are developed based upon what I'm hearing from the advocates most. So if I'm hearing that they're challenged with court stuff, I develop a training or work with, like, recently in December, meet Dr. Deborah and we developed a plan, where we did a Q&A, and we provided a training for the advocates because there was a lot of court questions. So it's we don't just formulate trainings based upon what we think you need, but what we're hearing the need is. Um, so you're always welcome to, share what it is your challenges are, and we'll do our best to support you in those challenges by providing a training.
Wow, thank you. That gives me a lot of confidence. Like it's like, wow, like I can learn and grow as an advocate too through this. It's not like you come in day one and you're going to know everything. It's like, no, you're going to walk with me through this. You're going to train, you're going to equip me, you're going to answer the really difficult questions that I have. And I don't have to respond immediately to the text message. So if there's a text message coming through and I'm like, oh, I'm not sure how to respond to this, I can always reach out to you and let you know, hey, there's a situation going on here and I'm not sure what to say, and you can help me and process through that. And as I do that, I also learn, and I think as part of for our own healing too, that's incredibly healing, being a survivor and learning how to like help somebody else and listen to your gut and say, okay, this something here feels off and I'm not sure what to do, but like seeking that out and learning and growing and being like, wow, I can do this, I can walk with a woman through this. And it's just something about that. It's really incredibly powerful and empowering ourselves and healing as well. And yeah, I'm excited about that. Like we can learn and like I'm sure it's really neat to see a lot of advocates who've been an advocate in 1 year, like where they're at 1 year, first year in, to like what cases they're wanting to do the next year. And they're like, wow, I learned so much. It's not one of our scheduled questions, but do you mind telling me what has been the most rewarding part for you of seeing, so you've been with Call to Peace for just right at a year, of seeing advocates come in and grow through this?
Um, I think the most rewarding, hmm, I don't know. I feel like that I've seen so many advocates come through and just like, I don't know if I can do this at all. Like, and once they get in, like, and they like, I'm just like, the next time I see you, it's just like, oh, that person's fine, or I've handled it. And I just see the confidence level increase because, when you go through the advocacy training, that's the training, but the support and the training and growing doesn't end there. So I always feel like you always become your best self when you hit the ground running, when you strap up your boots and get the ground running, because that's where you get the most experience and the expertise, like you in the moment, like you're growing and being able to actually apply what you've learned, and your confidence grows over time. So actually, I think seeing and hearing um, women grow and then be able to identify the things like they can deal with and what they cannot deal with. But most of the time, most of the ladies, they're able to do more than what they say they do. But another rewarding situation that's come to me is like I had an advocate contact me, and I was just amazed. First of all, she was talking to me and she said, well, I don't know if I can help her. Like, because she's like in the same situation that I am. I'm overly concerned. Like she had experienced the same thing that the person she was working with. And she was like, it's kind of crazy. It's just like that God put me in this position to help someone that I can relate to, like the exact experience she could relate to. And she has so much going on in her life, but the strength that she had to continue to support the person that she was working with was just amazing. It was amazing because she she was really blown away at her capacity to continue, even with everything that was going on in her life at that moment, to help someone who could possibly even trigger her, but it didn't. But she found strength to keep going and keep supporting and discovering ways how she can support this individual. So sometimes like we don't really know how much strength we have until we're in situations like that, where someone is who's experienced the exact same thing that you experience, and you've been able to move past what you've experienced and not be triggered. and still support them and get them the help they need. That's amazing to me.
That is. I thank you for sharing that, and that leads into my final question too. Is what would you say to a woman that comes to you and is like, I'm excited, been through the advocacy course. I'm excited to be an advocate, but I'm really nervous about saying the wrong thing, which we've kind of covered, and nervous just about being an advocate in general. And I think this is very normal to feel nervous. I think if you don't feel nervous, like it's probably something wrong. Like to take a new step and do something like this, you should feel nervous to a certain extent because you are taking on something new, and that's part of like when we recognize the inability to do it ourselves, it allows God to work through us. So, kind of, what would you say to that woman and that is feeling the nerves of becoming an advocate?
I would say that you're not alone. I'm just like you. I actually like even when I'm stepping in the position to support the advocate, sometimes I'm just nervous. But I ask God for help and because I know that He's put me in this position and allowed me this opportunity to serve other people. And I can't do it alone. There's solutions that I can't come up with alone. And I know that He's my source of strength, for one. And
Mhm.
when we know who our source is in for that internal strength. And when we're connected to the right people, and this organization has amazing people that's within it who can support you and guide you along the way. So you're never alone. Like you'll be equipped to be the advocate that there some woman out there needs from you.
Yes. I love that. And I love that final statement. Some woman out there needs you. They need your story. They need your voice. They need your strength. And you can give that to them by being an advocate with Call to Peace Ministries. And we wanted to also take a moment to take any questions. So if anybody has any questions that is asking, if you could drop them in the chat so we can see them from here and we will answer them. If you're watching this later, please still ask questions and I can tag Porscha in it and she can come back and answer as well. But Call to Peace, the reason why we're talking a lot about advocacy is one, we want people to be aware of, and well, not be aware, but understand what it's like to be an advocate and what that role is. Because kind of when I feel like as a survivor, the more I know about the situation, like the more confident and the more calm I feel than trying to jump into something that's really unknown is can be a little bit more scary. So we just want you to feel very confident and understand everything going on and that we are here to support you. Um, Also, I would just want to say, yes, that we are growing with Call to Peace Ministries
Yes.
incredibly. It is amazing. It's like God is just like opening up the floodgates. And I love what somebody was talking about, what Joyce says, is that she's like, God, these are your daughters. Please just use us to help them, send them so that we can show them your love and help them. And so God is doing that. He is sending his daughters that he loves and cares for. And I'm going to let Porscha tell you, like, because I remember I was really excited. We did an interview in October and we had 31 requests in the month of October for advocacy. And we're like, wow, this is like one every day. This is amazing. You will not believe how many requests we've had. And what's today's date? I'm going to double check just to make sure. It is 14th, the 14th. How many requests we had this month?
We have had about 27 requests as of yesterday.
Wow. So that is a lot. And we are so excited that these women are reaching out and we're able to walk with them. But the laborers are few. We need God to raise up the harvest.
Yes.
You are needed if you're watching this and you have been through domestic abuse or you have a desire to help and you want to turn that pain into your passion to help other people. Or you're like, I really want to understand this and walk with other women. My heart is drawn towards this. Please sign up for our advocacy course. It's a year-long program, wonderfully trained. If you've been through the advocacy course and you're still a little bit nervous, I hope that today kind of answered some questions for you and helped you understand the process a little bit more. But we need advocates. We need people to jump on board with us and to serve alongside God's precious daughters that need us to walk with them and hold their hand through the fire.
Absolutely.
Is there anything else that you wanted to add?
I would say just don't be afraid to get out there and help. Like literally, advocacy is just look like just hanging out with a friend and being that support that they need. And you will be amazed how much you would learn. If you're a therapist, or you're just like a people helper, you help out in your community, you're a pastor, you are a leader in your community, you are needed. Like, we need individuals who are people helpers, especially to be educated about domestic violence. And if you're just like a woman who loves helping other women, we need you. And don't be afraid to join us. You'll learn so much. You can ask questions. You can, get support wherever you need it. And, we just need you. There's
Yeah.
there's a lot of us, but not enough of us. We need more
Yeah.
people.
Yes, and we need good advocates in churches and therapists. I'm actually watching Nicole said hello. She's one of our advocates as well, and she's a counselor and an advocate. So, this is so important. I think she would agree with me that counselors are also trained in this as well. So, we reaching out to everybody that this course will be great for you if you want to understand domestic violence. 1 out of 3 women are in domestic abuse or experience it in their lifetime. So, it's not uncommon that if you're a pastor, a church leader, or a counselor, that you will run into a woman that's in domestic abuse, and you will miss and not understand the dynamics if you have not had training. So we implore everybody to please come through our training.
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, Porscha, so much for your time. I'm not seeing any questions here, but that doesn't mean we won't have any later. So I will tag you in any questions that we see. So if you're watching this later, please ask questions. Thank you so much for your time, and thank you for all that you do with Call to Peace Ministries. I love times that I get to talk with you, and I truly walk away feeling inspired and encouraged. So I know a lot of other women feel the same way too. So thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Lauren. I appreciate you taking the time to do this interview. It's needed. And
I
we go ahead.
was going to say absolutely. Oh, did it freeze?
No, no, no.
Okay, sorry.
Sometimes I do like this real still, and people think I'm frozen.
Well, thank you. And I hope everybody has a good day. And if you're expecting a blizzard, if you're in North Carolina, stock up on bread and milk, because apparently that's what we do. And everybody stay safe. Hope y'all have a great weekend. We'll talk to y'all soon. Bye.